It's a stunning September day here in Lancashire, and I've made my way down to a little village called Holden Clough, which isn't too far from Clitheroe in Lancashire. I've come to find a stunning waterfall. Feeling the nice cold water on my feet as I make my way up the river, I head slowly towards the actual waterfall itself, walking in the river upstream. Even though it's a difficult waterfall to get to, it's a stunning walk through this beautiful, cool, meandering river. There is a hell of a lot to make of this location, but first of all I'd like to give a big shout out to my friend Jacob Price, who actually told me about this waterfall. In return for that, I'm going to put a link to his Instagram in the description below, so please go and check him out. He's a good friend, he's a long time supporter of me, my channel and my photography. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have found this. Now, the most obvious shot here is to actually make use of these terraces we've got going across and have the waterfall as a background. And that's the first shot I'm actually going to set up for. I'll be setting up for that in a moment, but at the moment I'm just sort of scouting the location because I've never been here before. We've got some great ivy on the walls, some nice moss, some really nice dark rocks, and we have got quite a few felled trees and branches to make some foreground interest. So once I've got this first composition set up and taken, I'm then going to go over to that tree that you can see just in the foreground here, and we'll try and make something of that with the waterfall behind it. As I make my way further up, there's another tree right in front of the waterfall, just here. I'm probably going to get something a little closer and a little more intimate with that. Now, this waterfall has required hiking down the river. The bank up there, you have to walk along that from the road about 80 metres down, where you can finally come down into the gorge and then walk back up. And I've literally been hiking up straight through the water. So if you do come here, just bearing that in mind, either bring wellies or bring the appropriate footwear that you can see I've got on there. Let's get this first composition set up. Now I've got the little terraces in front of me with the moss covered rocks on, just going across the image, just leading nicely across the image, kind of in line with the waterfall, so they do kind of fit in even though they're not leading directly to the waterfall. And I feel that actually works nicely for this particular fall and location. Now I've actually focused out that image. I've focused twice on the foreground, twice on the midground and twice on the background in order to get a nice sharp image. I probably won't need all those images, but as always I'd rather have them and not need them. I've done that to about half a second to get some texture in the water. I've got a polarizer taking any reflection from the sky off the water in front of me. All in all, I'm loving that as a first shot. That's coming up now, then we'll get set up for the second. There we are. So for looking on the back of the camera, that shot looked okay, but you've seen it now before I have, technically. Now for the next shot, I'm actually set up just a little bit further in, closer to this first step here, and I've got more of this branch over here as my foreground. Let me show you up here. As you can see on the video, what I've got this nice light in the water in front of me. Although it doesn't show up very well on the video, it will show up better in the photograph. Once again, a focus stack. I'm using the branches kind of a bit more of a lead up to the main waterfall. This light being something of the foreground interest, and the waterfall being the main feature of the image. As a composition I quite like that, but I'm going to have to decide when I get onto the computer whether that's going to be a square image or a standard image, which I think is 4:3 on this camera. Now, I'm slowly working my way close to the waterfall, and as I'm getting closer I'm seeing more and more compositions to make the most of. There's almost too many. For a waterfall, it's got a lot going for it. Normally at a waterfall you can get about 5, maybe 10 images. I could see you finding something all day here. There's so much to think about, so much to photograph, but I'm only going to go for some basic shots. Shots that I want and shots that I actually like for my images. Hopefully it may give you some ideas if you decide to visit the location. Once again, for this next shot I'm actually making use of the steps that are in front of me here. I don't know if you can see on this video, but there is just a bit of light hitting this little patch of waterfall here, and that's quite fleeting. It keeps coming and going. I think it's as the tree branch leaves move in the wind up there. Because there isn't any cloud today, so that's the only thing that really can be making it come and go. Now, put on the video here. This is the composition I'm actually looking at. As you can see, I've got the end of the branch that's in front of me leading down into the image, and from the position I've actually got on the camera it almost looks like it's leading up to the bigger branch in the distance. Bit of light on the waterfall in front of me, focus stacking up to the waterfall at the back. Overall I think that makes for a good composition. Now, the next shot I'm going to go for is going to be a little further up, but hopefully this one will come out how it kind of looks on the camera, and it will come out how I'm picturing it in my mind. Either way, it's coming up now. Let me know what you think. It's been roughly about 15 minutes since the last bit of film I actually did. I've actually come up closer to the waterfall, as you can see. Like with most waterfalls that have a big pool of nothing in front of them, there aren't many compositions unless you can get light or a foreground or something, and we do seem to have an abundance of light at the moment, both hitting the waterfall and in the water. And that's actually given me two nice compositions that are coming up next. The first one's this relatively basic one where we're looking at the side of the waterfall, straight across it towards the branch in the distance, and we're looking over this huge pool of dark murky water. Well, it's clean water, but it looks murky because of the silt and the mud that's at the bottom. Now, with the polarizer angle to take the glare off the sky, it's also taking the life off that water, so I've tried to nudge the polarizer just a little so that some of that glare's still there, but not so much that it makes the image unworkable. I don't really want too much of the sky in, but I don't want to take too much away from it either. Now, the next shot I've come for is this one. I've moved a little bit away from the waterfall. I'm actually looking towards the large felled tree that's over in the distance there, and as you can see, the patches of light in the water are creating a nice lead up to that, which is creating a nice lead up into the actual waterfall itself. And we've got the beautiful light hitting the waterfall too, and all in all I think that makes for a nice image. I'm going to put 4 images up now. Those 2 that I've just told you, and 2 more that I'm going to take from over there. One's actually going to be looking directly at the waterfall with all this light, and one's going to be a little bit of a closer shot with that branch that you can see felled in the water there, just leading through the waterfall. Well, that brings a nice conclusion to yet another video. It is absolutely beautiful location here. I could sit here for hours. The sound of the water, the feel of it on my feet, even though my feet are freezing, and the light as it's hitting the waterfalls, creating some magical, beautiful images. Unfortunately, I do have to go home until it's nearly tea time, and I'll start getting phone calls soon asking where I am, so I better make my way back. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, thumbs up, and maybe share it if you want to. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I am trying to build this channel back up to the same level my old channel was at. And hopefully you enjoyed the video images. If you're not already a member of my Instagram, please hit the link below. My Instagram is on there, and don't forget to check out Jacob's Instagram as well. He does some great images. In the meantime, thanks for joining me. Bye for now.